Welcome back to another edition of the Gabagools Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff. With me today is Dan. And before we could pass it over to Dan, got to say it was a great weekend unless you were caught cheating at a Coldplay concert.
Yeah, okay, so enlighten me really quick. I'm not on social media as much as I used to be here. I've heard a few references of this, but I don't know if I've actually seen what happened here. But I heard the gist of it, like someone was caught cheating on a kiss cam. Is that
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. So pretty much this CEO and like head of HR were like canoodling at like
The
a
CEO. Oh,
and like the head of
boy.
HR too. So like, they were like canoodling in the like I don't know if it was a box or wherever they were sitting, and they went on the kiss cam or whatever, and then immediately like she turned and he did a dip and just dropped down and like walked out. And here's the funny part about that: if he would have acted totally normal, don't think any of that would have even happened. Like if they both didn't just like drop their shit and like freak out.
People panic when they're on camera, and then let alone when you're on the huge jumbotron and
And I guess
everyone
if you're
can see
having an
you, dude.
affair on top of it,
Oh,
I mean, guilty conscience, I guess, with that one. So
not a good look.
not a good look for not a good look from the Gabagools, from the Gabagools. But yeah.
How about it?
Now, how was your weekend?
Solid weekend, relaxing. Took it easy, chillaxed, as they say. Enjoyed resting up, as they say. You know, I'm on my feet for work every day, so it's nice to lay down, get off your feet for a couple of days, maybe try to catch some UV rays, maybe try to tan the skin a little bit, work on the base tan, and towards the end
Mm,
of July. So,
yeah, because I was
yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
I don't think we've talked since Fourth of July, but yeah, Fourth of July, I like that whole week literally sat outside and just got like a decent tan, so I don't get made fun of anymore for being like the whitest white person ever or whitest
It's a good
Italian.
idea.
I get the whitest Italian ever.
You don't want to be that because Italians, we're known for being
Well, and
out in the
do you know what's
sun,
even
having
worse?
that golden tan color.
Yeah, and we're Sicilian too, so that makes it even
Yeah,
worse. We have the
yeah. It
Sicilian.
it we're stuck up here in the cold Northwest. Our skin it has adapted poorly, as they say, from the hot Sicilian sun. And yeah, I mean, maybe we got to get back out there to our roots or something. I don't know.
Maybe would be a fun trip though for sure. But obviously, let's jump right in. Let's lead us off with the WNBA Allstar game was this weekend. It
Oh
was
yeah,
Team
yeah, yeah.
Caitlin Clark versus Team Collier. Nafisa, I think her name is Collier. She came out of UConn. She's amazing. She's my front runner besides Asia Wilson for the MVP. Excuse me, just that India Pale Ale just came back up. Um, Nafisa Collier had dropped 36 points, which was a new WNBA scoring record. Skylar
Okay.
Diggins, it was the first ever to drop a triple double in an All Star game, which is kind of crazy to think about. That, like, I mean, there's
First
typically
ever.
no defenses played unless you're Caitlin Clark, and it's in the middle of an Olympic year. Because if you've ever seen those clips of Kelsey Plum literally guarding her from 94 feet, like face guarding her the entire way, you'll have to
Mm.
look it up after the pod if you haven't seen that. But yeah, literally face guarded her last year. Caitlin Clark did not play. She's dealing with like a groin injury. So
Okay, I
she,
was just gonna ask. I thought I heard she was hurt like a week or a couple weeks ago, but then I looked up the score really quick and I said, wait a minute, she didn't. She obviously didn't play because she's not on the scoring sheet or whatever. But yeah.
yep. And then Friday, I think it was like Friday night because the game played Saturday night. Saturday, they did the skills challenge on Friday with Natasha Cloud from the New York Liberty. She beat out Erica Wheeler by like 1.1 seconds. It was like really close. And then in 3-point contest, Sabrina Ionescu from the Liberty as well. She came out of Oregon. She was like one of the top players. Great 3-point shooter. She actually faced off a couple years ago against Steph Curry in an All Star game.
Okay.
So that was pretty
Okay.
cool. She won with 30 points. I think she made like 11 in a row, and she retained her title. Like I think she sat out last year and then played this year. She won it, and then she actually split the pot with the rookie who did it, Sonia Citron. I'm butchering the name probably, but either way, she split the money with the rookie. So it was nice of her to do that.
Split the money, huh? When do you hear about athletes splitting the money?
Speaking of money too, the WNBA players all wore pay us shirts, basically, like pay us better because they have a new CBA coming up. So we'll see what happens, but it's hard when the whole league is like minus 50 million. That league is just not making it, but they're making money somehow because obviously Caitlin Clark has brought a lot to the table, and that's where I kind of laugh when I see some of these players like giving Caitlin a lot of shit too, just because she's the reason a lot of people are watching basketball. Like, I mean, think about it. Did we watch women's basketball 2-3 years ago? Did we even talk about it? Do we even think about it?
Yeah, she's definitely being compared to like a Steph Curry, type
Absolutely.
player of the WNBA because she's just obviously a great shooter. It's an easy comparison, but um, yeah, I mean, no offense to the women in the WNBA. There's obviously a lot of good players, but yeah, sometimes you turn on a game and if you actually watch it if you actually sit down and watch it, no offense, ladies, but a lot of misses, a lot of misses,
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
mean,
shots you just don't see on the men's side. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
So I
and
understand, but you know what?
gotta pay him.
36 points. Who had 36 points? I mean that
Nafisa
I don't
Collier.
care.
No, Nafisa
Okay.
Collier. She came out of UConn. She's like that girl. She
Yeah.
is.
Sounds like it.
She reminds. I'm trying to think of an NBA comp for you. I'll have to look it up. Like if you, I'll pass it over to you and I'll come up with one. But like she had like she's like one of those players that just takes over the game. And I watched, I think in between like the All Star game, they had like 3 or 4 games in a row. Like the way they schedule in the WNBA is wild. I swear to God, I was going back and watching like Lynx games or like watching highlights, and it was always like the Lynx playing like 2 or 3 of the same teams over like a 3-day span. I was like, what is going on here?
Mm. Odd scheduling.
It is odd scheduling for sure. But that's what I got to say on the WNBA. We kick off again tomorrow with that tip off, we should say. I think Caitlin Clark probably won't play tomorrow, but shout out our page backers. WNBA weekend was fun. I mean, it looked like a lot of fun. They had a couple streamers there that like it just they all looked like they had a great time. Where you go to the the regular NBA All Star game, and they're like, "Why are we here?" And
Hey, you know what? Pay him. Pay him.
And before we jump into the MLB All Star game, let me pass this over to you and let's use our big brains here.
Uh-oh.
What will make All Star games great again? Like, and I hate using that term, but like, what would bring more viewers to these All Star games? Because NHL, there's no contact. NBA, it's a glorified 3-point shooting contest. NFL, we've talked about the Pro Bowl being awful as it is. Like, we could get rid of it.
Well, and I just heard someone say this recently because everyone was talking about the MLB All-Star game days after. I mean, it just happened a few days ago, and people are still talking about that and the home run derby. Everyone is saying, whether you're a fan of the sport or not, that it was a raging success. Manfred obviously has done a really good job with a lot of the things that he's done, and I mean, the other sports, it's tough. What I heard this, I forget who said this, but it's tough to fake baseball,
It
even
is.
if it's
You
in
can't.
an All Star game, right? In the NBA, you can just chuck up shots from
You
the
could
half
you could
court.
dog it.
There's no defense. Pro Bowl, same thing. There's no defense.
NHL same
NHL, I'm
way.
not too
It's
familiar
same way.
with, but it sounds like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. So, the baseball, that's kind of a leg up that they have. Every sport's got their different pros and cons. The All Star game, the home run derby is kind of like who's the best in that moment, and they did a really good job with it. The other sports are tough for me, but just talking about the MLB All Star game, I mean, I think the biggest thing right off the bat was the challenge system, right?
That was interesting. The ABS, yeah, that was in the first with Taylor or not Taylor, Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the strikeout call. I don't know if that was him or Cal. It might have been Cal who behind the plate who said, "Hey, let's challenge this." But
All
I think they were 4 of 5 challenges were overturned with the new ABS system. So it's the future. I don't know if you can use some of that stuff with the other sports. I don't know if that's the answer for some of the other sports. Every sport's different, but
so I know the NHL. I brought it up to you before that they did the Four Nations tournament where they did all that. Like they had a little tournament and it was like crazy. I think that's what they need to continue to do is do like USA versus the world. They could even do that for the All Star game. See. I like the baseball one because, like you said, you can't fake baseball. You're either really good or you're really bad. pitchers are still going to hit 100. Batters are still going to hit 500-foot home runs. Shout out O'Neal Cruz with hitting 512. We'll jump into that a little bit later. But, I think that baseball is kind of perfect the way it's at. I think the home run derby my one little anecdote that I want to see change with the home run derby is I want to see it come back to the old school where you had 10 outs and you had unlimited swings. Give me a nice 7-hour home run derby on a Wednesday night. Thursday night, let's cook. Maybe when it goes back to Wrigley, and Ricketts.
That takes me back to like the Bobby Abreu home run derby. I don't know if that was like a long one, but they were all long back in the day when you had 10 outs.
And what's funny about the Bobby Abreu one, I remember it like 100% of my memory too. But I thought he had a lot more home runs, but he doesn't even have the record for most home runs in a home run derby.
I don't know if we're jumping in. Are we just jumping into baseball? Or
we're done with WNBA, but I mean, big picture, I think they need to do more like tournaments or something that actually is a competitive edge for these All-Star games to keep getting viewership. And then moving into the viewership for the All-Star game, I mean, the MLB they had a 3% dip, but they had 7.2 million viewers on average.
I mean, that sounds like a decent number. I don't know how many you get per All-Star game. I don't know.
I mean, the year before was 7.44. So, I mean, we're talking like nickel and dimes there. I mean, that's still a lot of people watching it. Granted, there's not a whole lot on at this time of the year.
That could have been, sometimes you get a team like, just for example, you got Detroit this year, right? And you got a couple guys that started that people probably could have said, you probably could have had this guy start over this guy. And maybe that had something to do with it. You would assume Detroit fans were out voting, so you would assume all the Detroit fans were watching. Yeah. But maybe that had something to do with it. But all in all, I mean, it was a great week for baseball with both of them. The home run derby, just to touch on that quickly. I mean, I can't remember the last time we had, and not all of them were this young, but James Wood, 22 years old. Junior Caminero, 22 years old. O'Neal Cruz, 26 years old. No offense to Jazz, he shouldn't have been there, and not because he hit one home run.
Yeah.
Not because of the performance. He shouldn't have been there. We could have.
The performance was horrible.
I like Jazz as a player. He hits a bunch of homers in the regular season, but you look at him compared to O'Neal Cruz. No offense. I mean, even if it were Mookie Betts, and I like Mookie Betts, but I mean, and I know O'Neal Cruz. He might have gotten out of the first round. I'm trying to remember, but I mean, you get my picture, right? We're putting some big guys out here. The one thing from the Derby, I don't know if I already mentioned this through text with you or somebody else, but seems kind of obvious that Cal Raleigh was going to be the winner, right?
The big dumper, as we like.
He's on this historic pace. He's got all these homers, and then you got all these other names up here, and you're looking at some of these guys like, Matt Olson, Byron Buxton, some of the other guys I just mentioned. Brent Rooker had a really good showing.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good players out there, and Cal Raleigh he's great.
Well, did you know that there was only one repeat home run derby contestant, and it was Matt Olson?
I was just going to, because I was looking that up. I couldn't find the number, people. But I don't even remember Matt Olson doing it, and I liked it too. Bunch of younger kids in the league that are either just breaking in or have been in a couple years that look good. Buxton was healthy this year. He had a solid showing. Everybody other than Jazz, and no offense to Jazz, he's a great player. You know what? All-star, good for him. He's a very good player. Everyone had a really good showing. I don't know if you watched it from start to finish, but I missed. I think James Wood might have been the first guy, and I missed most of his at bat or whatever. After that, I watched like the rest of the first round, and he started with, I don't know if it was 15, 16, 17. He had a really good number. You're thinking he's definitely going, to the second round. And then the next two or three guys hit at least one or two more than him, and you're like, this is getting interesting already.
Oh yeah, no, and you know what my sleeper was Brent Rooker too, and honestly, he missed it by it came down to like a tenth of a yard or inch or whatever it ended up.
Yeah, and Cal inched him, right?
Yeah, Cal did.
Yeah. Yeah,
And because I think even over the intercom they were like, okay, we're doing a swing off, and then all of a sudden they were like, no, we're actually not doing a
that's what I.
swing off. And I think it's a
Yeah,
time thing. I think people got bored with the old home run derby, but like us, like hardcore baseballers, we were like, give us a 5 hour home run derby. You give them 10 outs, let them hit as many as they can. And I don't know if that was just bad for the players. Players don't want to do it anymore, like when they did that.
you know what? And no offense to Cal, I know you're probably going to see this all across all social media platforms. I know this is going to be big for you, but the reason he out inched Rooker is because he's got a big ass, right? Big dumper, right? That's why power comes from the ground up. You
Pretty sure
storing all that.
McAfee introduced him with that, and he called him like the big ass.
And there you go. But I mean, it was a really good. Honestly, I don't remember Matt Olson ever doing it. I'll take your word for it. And the internet, I get it. But yeah, I mean, it was fun to watch. I mean, Junior Caminero, he lit it up. He had a great
Did you see the kid?
showing.
Did you see the kid rob the home run?
Saw that, and I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know if we should be doing that in the home run.
Yeah, I
Maybe
was like,
let that go, dude.
Cal Raleigh was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like, yeah, we should have had him out there earlier. But yeah,
Yeah,
Cal Raleigh obviously run. He hit 54 across the 3 rounds. Let's see
great
here.
showing.
He had a great showing. Yeah, he defeated Cabanero, 18 to 15 in regulation with the plus the bonus. I think the longest home run in there in that round was like 464. It's still a hell of a long
Which
way.
is impressive because you got 3 rounds to get through, and if you're still hitting them at 460, I mean, it's tiring to go up there and swing as hard as you can for a few
Right.
minutes, and then you get the bonus time. It's yeah.
And then we had a new record for a non-course field. It was O'Neill Cruz hit 513 feet. That's insane.
It might have been somebody was saying the other day that they watched his game, and they don't always get Pirates games, and they were saying, the ball jumps off his bat harder than maybe anyone else in the league. I mean, there are some big human beings. We could talk about Aaron
Yeah.
Judge. I mean, there were other big people in that derby, but the ball just went. I mean, it's interesting too because he's got this raw, unreal freaking power. If he
Yeah.
could put it together, man, you're talking about a superstar.
Yeah, Paul Skeens might actually get a win.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too. I mean, big old Paul goes out there. How about Paul Skeens? I wanted to make sure I was home. I mean, the All-Star game over the home run derby. I always loved the home run derby, but the All-Star game, you got everybody in there. Wanted to make sure I was home, ready to go, because I wanted to see Skeens versus Skubal in that first inning, right?
Yeah, and
What does
Skubal got
Skeens
hit
do?
up.
I don't think Skeens threw one off-speed pitch. I think I don't know if my memory is correct on that. I think that was all gas. I don't think he threw anything under 99.
All gas, no brakes.
And I mean, you go up there, it's like, what, you can't hit it? Like, I mean, the guy's he just said, here it is. See if you can hit it. I'm not even going to mess around with you. And Skubal tried to dink and dime a little bit. And then, yeah, he gave up a couple hits. Ketel Marte had a big hit. I thought the National League had that thing in the bag. And somehow you guys come back and score a bunch of runs late. And then we have to
Yeah.
do this swing off, which was interesting. I liked
Yeah,
it.
let me
But
jump in.
I wanted to win the
Let's
game in
recap
9
the actual
innings.
one before we get into
Jesus.
the actual ribeye of the pod
Oh.
with that one. But yeah, it was a crazy All-Star game. The National League obviously beat the American League 7-6, but it was decided by the first ever swing off, which is perfect. Every way it was perfect, except for the amount of people or the contestants from the American League. I'm sorry, but they should have had Aaron Judge. I mean, someone said it too. They were like, "Oh, these guys probably all left the Derby or left the All-Star game already before it." It's like, okay, but like, there is no reason we shouldn't have seen like the National League pulled out Kyle Schwarber. They put out Pete Alonso, who I don't even did he even swing the bat? Did he even need to? And then who was the other guy that they had? Stowers, who's just been the hottest hitter in baseball recently.
He's been great.
Too. But yeah, NL won 7-6 because of Kyle Schwarber's dominance.
It should have. I mean, I don't mind having needing three sets of people. It should be one of each, and it's set up perfectly for that to be Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, right? I mean that's what it should have been.
Give me Judge, give me Vlad Jr., and then I mean I would take Brent Rooker. He was far from the problem.
I'm saying just give me one. Just give me one guy. We don't even need to go 3. We already played 9 innings.
Yeah.
Give me one from each. Everybody wants to see. Those are the two biggest names in our sport. You've got Captain Aaron Judge, who's having mammoth seasons the last couple years, going up against Shohei Ohtani, the most interesting two-way player we've ever seen in 100 years since Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's what it should have been 1v1. But you know what? I'll take the win for my ex Cub, Kyle Schwarber. Schwarby, I don't think you've seen this. Maybe you have if you've seen our pods, but I've got a jersey of you, throwback retro jersey, 1920 something, I think. Sick
Yep.
freaking jersey, dude.
I have a picture.
Love
I
you.
have a picture with us walking into Wrigley for Cubs socks, wearing our jerseys too. I was wearing Giolito because he pitched that day.
It's a sexy jersey. I mean, I don't just break it out for any occasion either. It's one of those where it's like if I'm wearing this, it's a big deal. So no, but good for the National League to finally win one. And you guys had won. What was it, like 10 of the last 11 or something like that? I was like, Jesus Christ, we don't need to have that stat. Who was calling it? Joe Davis and John Smoltz. Like, we don't need that one, Joe.
It was just like it was the first ever swing off, so that was pretty cool. The AL came back and late in the game. Brent Rooker hit that 2-run home run that kind of put everybody back in it. I think it was 2-run, or maybe I felt like it was a 3-run home run, but 2-run home run. Then Bobby Witt, I think, knocked in 2. And then obviously the tying was Stephen Kwan's RBI, which was hilarious because it was just like a little dink to shortstop, and then Bobby Witt scored on it. So yeah, pay Kyle Schwarber. I mean, somebody's got to pay Kyle Schwarber. I mean, the Cubs gypped him. And I wonder how much they regret that. Do you think they actually regret losing him?
Well, you know what? I mean, Kyle has been he's aged like a fine wine the last couple years. Last year he had a really good year. I think he still struck out last year like 200 times, but he still had like 100 walks or something. So I mean, you strike out a lot, but he's got a really good eye for someone who strikes out a lot.
I would
And this
love
year
to. I would love to
he's
see the
cut
Sox
down.
go after him.
Jesus, I don't know if I'd like that, but Schwarber's gonna get. I mean,
He's
he's a
gonna get probably
DH.
400.
He's a D 400 million.
Maybe 300 at least. Maybe,
Jesus
yeah, let me
Christ.
think about it. 300.
I don't
The
think he
dude,
gets two.
you don't think you're probably right.
He's
I think he
30.
deserves 3.
He's 31 or 32 or 33. I think he's not that old, and he's getting better. This is probably going to be his best year career wise. But how many years are you going to pay a DH? Right? He's not a special DH like Ohtani who can pitch.
Yeah, and I guess
Um,
all he does is make an All-Star game. He doesn't win Silver Sluggers.
how much are you willing to pay this guy? I mean, he's
I
not
mean,
somebody.
being
I
so
love Schwarber,
I do too.
but
I do too. That's the one guy. I mean, because so going all the way back to 2015, I won in like the first year of our beer league. I ended up winning that fantasy league in part because Kyle Schwarber's huge year he had. Like when he got called up, the dude just hit a bunch of home runs that first year,
yeah,
and he had 16 of them. So, I mean, outside of him tearing his ACL in 16, I mean, the dude's been the most consistent home run hitter for a long time. I mean, you didn't like. I was kind of shocked that the Cubs just like completely took everybody that was a part of that core and was like, we're either trading you or you're walking.
yeah. Yeah, but it would have been nice to keep one or two of them. I mean, Schwarber and Rizzo were my two guys. Chris Bryant, we just came out recently, said he's got some sort of degenerative issue with his back or something. So the writing's on the wall for him to pretty much be done with baseball, which is a shame because at his peak, he was one of the better players in the league for a small sample, two,
Yeah, I,
three
I
years,
was
but he was a stud.
I was a huge fan of Bryant too, but yeah. All right, let's jump into like what's going around the league. Let's touch standings real quick, and then we'll jump into our local teams, and then we'll see where we go from there. Maybe some trade rumors.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously AL East, we got the Blue Jays up on 3 games on the Yankees. We got the Tigers with a demanding 12-game lead over the Guardians. Sign that one off for ALCS visit. AL West. Eyeball emojis for this one. The Mariners have been hot recently, catching up on the Astros. Only -4 games.
I picked Seattle the last couple of years because I love their starting pitching.
Yeah,
You've got the big dumper this year. You got a couple guys. I'd love to see them get another hitter or two. Andres Munoz is one of the best closers we've got in the league. But Houston, man, I mean, how are they doing this? I mean, they're 15 games over 500. Nobody saw this coming.
Jordan's out.
Yeah.
It's
Christian
wild.
Walker's
And
just been getting going kind of recently. I
yeah,
mean, Jeremy Pena's injured. Christian Walker, or not, Christian Javier, he's
yeah.
injured. They got a lot of injuries. I mean, wow,
It's just a
they're a good team.
well-run. It's a well-run organization for as long as I can remember. It's funny how I mean the Cubs are amazing. We'll talk on them at length a little bit later, but just how good they have been over a 10-year span. Since
Houston,
2015,
yeah, they've been unbelievable.
since 2015, they've been insane. They made sure that they built the correct way. They kept their core together, and even when they got rid of core pieces, Bregman, Correa, who else did they get rid of? I mean, the
Tucker,
list goes on and on. I mean, they've moved pitchers, no problem. Verlander gone,
Verlander,
Garrett Cole
Cole.
gone. All those guys, and they've stayed consistent. So hats off to the Astros. But yeah, for when we started the pod, well, not started started baseball talk this year. The AL Central was up there. They had 3 wild card teams, right? Well, look what happened to them. Royals fell off hard. Twins hard. Guardians hard. I mean, I don't. The whole division's gonna be selling this year.
And what's interesting is nobody saw Detroit being this good, right? They're 20 games over. They're the first team in baseball to 60 wins this year. Congrats to them. They've not been great for a while, so good for them. But I mean, they don't have other than Scooble, and he's just emerging as like a
Flaherty.
superstar player.
Flaherty's
I
good.
wouldn't. Again, but like superstar, right? They
Oh
got
yeah,
one
superstar.
guy. They got one guy, and that's Tarek Skubal, and he's coming off of he had obviously a triple crown year last year, and then I think the second half of the year before that he
Yeah.
was like awesome, but before that he wasn't on this level. So Skubal again, other than like Skeens, Wheeler, Skubal, those guys are in the mix right now. If you need a win, those are the guys on the short list that you want on the mound that'll get you a win.
Hold on,
But they
pause.
got all these.
While we're on the Scooble talk, we're predicting the future. Where does he go? Where does he get $400 million?
Do you know how many years he has left on his contract?
I'll give you that in a minute, but
Where does he go?
I'm gonna give you 3. Boston,
Detroit, I would not be shocked. Okay, Detroit has spent money before.
Yeah,
They might have new ownership. They need to keep this guy. Does he go somewhere else? Hey, there's other markets. There's bigger markets than Detroit. But Detroit has spent money. They paid Javier Baez $150 million.
Right, exactly.
Whatever it was.
So he's got 1 more year left.
You think Boston?
Well, I was going to name it. I was going to go off actually 4 teams here.
Okay.
Dodgers, of course. Mets, Yankees, Boston.
Boy, I tell you, you like to pick the biggest markets.
Yeah, well, Chicago's a small market now. We don't pay anybody.
Well, I wasn't necessarily. I mean, I was going to say you left us out, but
Tell me he would not be the perfect Cub though. Like after thinking about
it. You know what? He would be awesome. The one thing we've got, especially with Matthew Boyd this year, and if Justin Steele wasn't hurt, all we have is lefties. We've got Steele, Imanaga, and Boyd. All are pitching great. Obviously, Steele's hurt, but we got all these lefties. I'd love to have
Scooble, all on 1-year deals that are going to be gone soon. I mean, Steele's coming off of what, TJ? I mean, if you're telling me Scooble would ruin the bank or ruin because you guys have lefties, I mean, give me a blank check. I'd give him a blank check for like 6 years and let him be 6 or 7 years. Let him retire a Cub. I'm kind of like predicting that they'll actually be in the race for him for some reason. I just feel like I have that gut feeling that like.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, the Cubs we've got some big moves to make ourselves. Jed Hoyer, I think, is in his walk year. So
we'll jump into the trade rumors in a little bit. I just wanted to see where you thought. Okay, where do you think he'll go? Do you think he stays with Detroit, or do you think he goes to one of the big markets? I mean, I'll give you one or the other.
I'd like to see him stay in Detroit. I mean, I don't know if they retain him, but I mean, they've got a few. They're big enough; they could give him a few $100 million.
They easily could. Absolutely, I agree. But we'll see because recently outside of like Miguel Cabrera and like all those guys, they let all these guys walk. I mean, Scherzer, Verlander, all of them have walked at some point. So
I don't see the Dodgers though. They got 20 guys that they could have on the mound. I mean, my goodness.
They'll get whoever they want. They'll decide to be
That's
like, here you go, deferred money.
I don't I don't like it.
Yeah, I know. I agree. That's why I'm actually okay with the White Sox being so bad, just because of how the market is at the point. At this point, it's like, what the hell is the point? But the Blue Jays, surprising. Yankees have been terrible as of late.
They've been bad.
Terrible.
They've been bad.
But just like I said, though, Red Sox are in that wild card race right now.
You picked the Red Sox, I think, this year as a dark horse, and you know what? You can see why. They've got some good pieces, right? When Giolito's pitching well, when Bello's pitching well, Bayo, however you say it.
Yeah.
You've obviously got Crochet, who up there with Skubal. I think him and Skubal and Crochet, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they have the exact same ERA right now. Their numbers are almost identical to this point in the season. So if you're talking about an AL Cy Young winner, it's going to come down to if both of these teams make the playoffs or if someone, gets blown up once or twice in the second half.
Yeah, you got it nailed down there. 2.19 ERA. Crochet has one more start. Do you know who's also been pretty nice out of the AL is Jacob deGrom. He's only got 19 starts, but he's got a 2.32 ERA.
If it wasn't for the other two ahead of him, because obviously I think the other two might have a few more strikeouts.
Yeah.
You're right though. DeGrom's been unbelievable, and he's doing this. He's trying to not throw as hard, right? And look what he's doing. You get a few less strikeouts. He's still throwing 6-7 innings, shutting everybody out. I mean, the guy's still unbelievable with diminished stuff.
Exactly. So I think that's all I got on the AL. You got anything closing before we swap over to National League?
Seattle, step it up, and Toronto, man, good for Toronto. I've liked some of their guys for a few years. I thought 3 years ago, I thought, God, they have to get into the playoffs, and then they miss it by a game this year, miss it by another game or two the next year, and now I'm kind of out on them. But of course,
Toronto shows up
on them.
Playoffs. For playoff baseball. Toronto shows up too. It's actually electric to watch.
They were red hot going into the break. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're in first place by like 3 games. We'll see if they can hold it. I like their team though. They have a lot of good players.
Absolutely. We'll see how the next couple weeks go. But moving into the National League, we got the Phillies with a half-game lead on the Mets, and that's pretty much the NL East. It's a 2-horse race there, which is kind of surprising with how many decent teams are there. NL Central. Watch out for those Brewers. We've already, I called it already weeks ago that it's going to come. It always comes every year. Hopefully it's not too early this year, but they've been one of the hottest teams in baseball. I think they won, 10 straight now? They swept the Dodgers.
I think so, yeah. They're 6-0 against the Dodgers this year, if I'm not mistaken.
It's insane. I think they swept them both times. And then you got, even the Reds, only 7.5 out. They're 52-48. They're not a juggernaut by any means, but they're that sneaky team.
They've been playing better.
2 or 3 wins.
They've been playing better. Andrew Abbott's having a really nice year for them. Terry Francona's getting this team to play a little bit better as of recent.
Next year's going to be the year.
Milwaukee's been a thorn in our side the last couple of years for sure. And you know what? They're a good team. It's Woodruff. Mizorowski, everybody wants to give him his love, and he looks great. Don't get me wrong. But getting Woodruff back and having him be the guy that he was a couple of years ago when it was him and Corbin Burns, you could have told me it was flip a coin, and you'd say this guy's better than him. Yeah. I think that's where I thought Woodruff was. He's had some injuries, but man, he's only had a couple starts, and he's already looked really good. We'll see what happens. I'm still riding with the Cubs.
Well, you have to. It's your team.
Of course, but
best team, best record in baseball, tied for best record in baseball right now. So you got to stick with them. But I'd be a little concerned. They're plus 85 on their run differential for sure, but they need to get some pitching in there. I think that's going to be their thorn. Because Boyd, how long is he going to hold up? You can't trot out Colin Ray in the playoffs. You can't. Assad, we've talked about him.
Forget the playoffs. We're tied with Milwaukee, so now you're
gonna make it regardless if it's a wild card or not. Realistically, it's just whether or not you play the Dodgers in the divisional series or you play them in the CS.
And we'll see. We'll see. Everybody's talking about the Dodgers this and that. You know what? They've been underwhelming this year. I know
Yeah.
they've got a ton of guys who are injured, but that's every year. I like if I don't like us, I like the Phillies. I like
Oh
the
yeah.
Mets. They've been sliding a little bit. The Phillies, man, with their rotation with Wheeler, Suarez,
Nola's hurt. Nola's been hurt for like a month or so he'll be back
Christopher
eventually.
Sanchez has been really good for them. They've got some legit pitchers over there. They've got a great offense.
Even the Padres, I've been watching a couple late night games just
I like
because.
San Diego too. They just got you back recently.
Yeah, I mean they look dangerous, and Manny
Dylan
just
Cease needs to pitch better. I'm tired of seeing this guy with a 40 ERA. Like go up
I,
there, show me
he had like
some balls.
one elite year for like the Sox too. He had that one elite year where he was just untouchable the entire time.
Have you seen him too? I think he's got a beard now or some longer
Yeah,
hair or something. I'm like,
yeah,
who the
he's got
hell is this
long like
guy?
a big beard. Like it's just over the years, it was like a mustache, and then it went to a full beard, and then it looks like yeah. But he's yeah,
Hi,
he's
Josh.
been really good. Oh,
He
yeah.
just got home.
But yeah, the Dodgers, they're plus 99 too in the differential. So we'll see what ends up happening in that one. It's a 3.5 game race. I think the Padres can catch them 100% if they, scheduling permits. But Dodgers are faltering. So it's honestly what the Cubs need to do, or the Brewers need to do, just in general. They just need to. Somebody needs to get um, a couple arms in there for the Cubs. I think the Brewers could use a bat or two, but like the Brewers won't go out and pay somebody like a big name. They're not going to go trade somebody for that. It's internal with them. They'll go get some slap hitter who will get you 3 for 5 every night.
You know who? I mean, he could fit a lot of teams, but you know who would be good going there? Eugenio Suarez. Guy's got like 35 homers this year.
You guys are
I don't
linked to
know.
him. You guys are linked to him.
Yeah, I mean, we could kill him with the bats too, but I'd like to see
Well,
an
you
arm.
guys need both. I'd like to see you guys get both. Go get Suarez. He'll hit like 50 more home runs at Wrigley, and then go get. I mean, Sandy's been terrible. Cabrera's been okay. I mean, I said it before. Go get one of those like Trevor Rogers type players that just is a back
Seth
end.
Lugo,
Seth Lugo is another one that is a
he's an
huge name
interesting
that you
guy.
guys should go get. He looks like he would fit in with the Cubs. They're probably going to land him. I can predict that one. It has that
I
feel.
think that would be actually a great fit. I mean, because like I said, we've got all these lefties.
Yeah.
Lugo's a little bit older, but he's been a stud the last couple of years.
It's never bad to have a
Um,
couple lefties. I mean, Chris Sale, lefty.
no, I like
Eric
having
Crochet,
the
lefty.
lefties. Yeah.
But yeah, when you jump in, the Blue Jays obviously need rotation depth. D-backs have Suarez on the trade block. They're probably it's gonna go to the highest bidder. The Rays, keep an eyeball on them too. They've been one of the hotter teams recently too. And then the Cubs, obviously, like I said, need pitching. And if they're the contenders, they're gonna have to go get a couple power, like maybe one power bat, and go get some back end help in the rotation.
And I just wanted to mention this really quick. How about Daniel Palencia, right? Silently having
What is it? 15 the
sneaky.
last 16. He's closed out.
He's got a 1.53 ERA, 35 innings, 39 Ks, .88 WHIP, and I think I think I said 13 or 14 on the year. I'd have to see if
Something. Well, I know it was
he's been
like
great.
13 to 14 for sure, but yeah, he's been insane. We'll touch on the local teams right now too, because we're on the Cubs. They took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. They, kind of demolished them the first 2 games.
Yeah.
They gave up 1 run. Shota went out, did his thing, 7 shutout innings, 5 home runs. Bush, PCA, Shaw, Tucker, Happ, all those guys got in the mix. Saya on the night before. And then obviously lost yesterday. Bullpen floundered, but it happens. Stuff that you guys can work on. And then you go across to the other side, the south side. First sweep of the year on the road since I think I saw a stat since 2022, which was the Giants first sweep on the road since that long. You might have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was 2022.
That's a stat for you.
I mean, they've been really bad, really bad.
You guys have been playing better though recently, and then the 3-game sweep.
And yes, it was the Pirates, but they've looked so much better of late. I mean, Jonathan Cannon started off with the 7-1 run innings, and Robert and Kiro, homered in that game, and they won 10-1. The next night, they won 10-4 behind former Cubby Toutman. He had a 3-run double. Lennon Sosa has been hitting the hell out of the ball recently, and then you had yesterday, obviously Vargas and Toutman went back to back.
Uh, you know what they call Mike Tuckman, right?
You've said it before, but I can't think of it. What is it?
The the Palatine Pounder.
Palatine Pounder. There you
He's
go.
from here. Went to high
I
school
wouldn't
with
mind.
friend.
I would love to keep him, to be honest, and not like say
He's a solid player, man.
I
I
think
don't know
he's
if he needs
helping
to
with
be your
I think
everyday
he's a
player,
good
but
locker room. He's a good dugout locker room guy. I feel like he's just
he's
helping.
good.
He's been really good. Uh, Luis Robert looks better of late. He's made a couple highlight plays and he's
Well,
homering everyone's.
you need him to get
If
going. I mean, we're already end of July.
I mean, somebody could take a risk on him. I mean, Phillies need a center fielder still. I think he would fit perfectly there. I think if you want to say like the Yankees, go send him there, but we'll see. But yeah, like I said, Sox looking a lot better, and we'll see once the pitching starts like evening out. But yeah, all right. Any closing arguments on baseball, especially the NL?
I got one. I got two things for you. Actually, I
Okay,
might have. Okay, hang on. I
hit me
got
with them.
first we got Aaron Judge tied A-Rod for the franchise home run. I think they both have 350. Where did I write this? 351? Is that what I have? Why can't I find it? I just wrote it down. I think he tied A-Rod with 351. I think that's sixth all time in Yankees history. You've got guys like the Babe, 659, Mantle, 536. Lou Gehrig, 493. So we'll
I
see if Judge can catch any of those immortals, but he's pretty close. He's only 7 behind Yogi and what is that? 10 behind Joe DiMaggio.
Jumpin' Joe DiMaggio. I guess I didn't realize that A-Rod played for the Yankees as long as he did.
Oh, I mean,
It
if he
was
didn't have
04.
that,
It was 04 through 2016. That was
if
when
he
he
didn't have
retired.
that, if he didn't have that suspension at the end of his career where he missed a year and a half, he would have been in the 700 home run
Yeah,
club.
I mean, he hit
He missed it
33
by
in
like 3 or
2015,
4.
and then I think he got hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, he only played like 65 games in 2016. But yeah,
in the
you're
last
right. I
year, yeah.
mean, he'll be up there. I mean, obviously, I think he is. Is he a Hall of Famer? No, not yet. We'll see if he gets in the Hall of Fame. We'll have to keep the Hoff watch going.
Well, speaking of, that's a good transition into the next one. Hall of Fame induction ceremony, I believe, is this Sunday, right? We
Oh,
got the 3 guys who were just inducted. We've got Ichiro Suzuki, 99.7% of the ballot. He's one of those guys where I get it.
who
There's
who
always
voted
one or
no?
two
I mean,
writers.
that's what I want to
Yeah,
know. I mean,
right. There's always one writer who's like, you know what? Everyone else is going to vote for him, so I won't vote for him.
I think that's
Stupid.
what it is. I think that's what it is. Personally, they could use their vote on somebody else to keep them on the ballot.
Number 2, we had CC Sabathia, who was one of the better pitchers that we had growing up for a while. He had 86.8% of the ballot. And Billy Wagner, a reliever. We've been
He's
seeing
one of my
relievers start
favorites.
to get in there. He was
He's
a
one of my
stud for a
favorites,
while.
actually. He was
He had
just shut
82.
down for as long as I can remember. I mean, 422 saves. Like, the
Yeah.
dude just went out and shoved, and then he went to Philly. Didn't really. He did terrible in Philly. I think. I think that's why they got rid of him. And then he went to the Mets and had a couple of good years, and then just kind of fell off after that.
Yeah, but everybody talks about 3,000 hits, 500 home runs. There should be like a plateau for closers because there's not a lot of relievers in the Hall. So it'd be nice, maybe you get to 300. I don't know. Maybe you get to 350, 400. I don't know. But those 3 all being inducted, and also posthumously now, Dave Parker is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think he's a little before our time, but we know the name a
Yeah,
little bit. He was
Pirates.
a pretty good player
Yeah.
in his day. Also, we had another captain of the Mets, David Wright, had his number retired recently this past week or weekend, I believe. The
Well
7-time
deserved.
All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover, 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner. He had the bad back and that plagued him for the rest of his career. Once that happened, I forget what year that was. It was really starting to affect him, but still finished with a career 296 batting average. I thought he had at least 300 homers. He only had 242, but still a pretty darn good number when you make it to the major leagues. You're in that 1%. 1777 career hits. Great, congrats to David Wright there. Obviously, if he didn't get hurt, he was one of those guys that was on that
Oh
Hall
yeah,
of Fame trajectory, no doubt.
100%. Those are always fun. So many fun games to watch whenever you see the Mets on Sunday Night Baseball or whatnot.
And the last baseball thing I've got for you, I'm sure you saw this. Did you see Ronald Acuna's throw from right field?
Of course, best throw I've seen ever. Like that was a no doubter. Like outside of maybe Yoenis Cespedes a couple years ago when he was with the I think Athletics.
That was one of those. That was one of those like Roberto Clemente, like unbelievable. Like catches it like this, doesn't even really step into it, guns him at third. I mean, that was unreal.
Yep, exactly. All right, transitioning into our Mount Rushmore of road trip snacks. So, obviously, hit the final stop. We're rolling down the highway. What's the best snacks to fuel your ride? You go first, since I had the last one.
All right, so I looked at this slightly differently, just because I'm on the road working a lot. But recently, when it's been really hot, got to get me a Slurpee. That's number one.
Ooh,
Give me
a lot of sugar.
Oh, dude, I had two of them the other day, or like a big 58 ouncer. Yeah.
Do you have a flavor that you do?
Oh, I mix them. I like the strawberry. It's great, and then either the blue raz or the mango. Oh my God,
That's hilarious. All right,
it's
so
good stuff.
I'll take combos. Obviously, you could go any of the flavors, pizza or cheddar or whatever the cheese one is. That's my go-to. And then on the way back, got to go with the sour candy. It's a little wake up
Sour
call.
candy.
Little wake up call there,
Now, real quick, is there a specific sour candy or just
Sour Patch. Sour Patch usually is my
love
go-to.
Sour Patch?
But
Okay.
any type of sour.
Okay. 2 and 3, I'm gonna hit you with this. How about a good honey roasted cashew? Right? I don't know if you're a sweeter. I don't know if that's too healthy for this podcast, but they're really good.
Uh, honestly, wife has peanut allergy, so nuts are kind of out of the household. So that's not
Oh
one of my
man,
car snacks.
Jeffrey, you're missing out, my friend. That's a go-to for me, especially when I'm working. Get a little protein.
Yeah,
Number 3. Now this might be a little off the wall. How about a good chocolate pretzel? Sometimes at a gas station you
chocolate
can find a
pretzel.
good
Yeah,
chocolate pretzel. I
more
know
in the
that's a little
fall
off
and
the wall.
winter. Fall and winter, I'd be all over that.
Okay, all right.
All right, so my number 3, I got a Gatorade / coffee. So I'm hydrating or I'm getting caffeine. So either way, my engine is getting started some way. But yeah, and it has to be like the little twist top bottle for the Gatorade. I need
Oh,
the
of
long.
course. Yeah.
And if you ask me the flavor, it's the blue. Any of the blues.
Any of the blues, huh?
But yeah, I also like the coffee, especially if it's an early morning trip. You get that little caffeine kick like halfway through, and it's like, all right, if it's on the way there, I'm ready to go slam like 4 beers, or it's just like whatever we're doing, I'm ready to do. And then my
Slam a
last,
few brewskis.
exactly, and then my last preference, some beef jerky. Like you said, protein packed, rugged. It's road trip fuel right there.
Okay, I'm gonna go the opposite way here. I'm gonna go with a Hershey's cookies and cream bar, dude. I don't know if you ever had one of
Ooh,
those, but
delicious, delicious. That's a good one. That's a road trip one for sure, though. That's a
oh,
treat right before you get to your destination.
that's a treat anytime.
True, true. My honorable mention, I had some trail mix or a cheese stick. Usually, if you go to Wisconsin, you go get some cheese curds, some nice curds, and maybe a couple like snack sausages.
Okay, all right. My honorable mentions, I'm gonna go with just a regular Sprite. Give me a good Sprite.
Ooh,
And they got these either a Gardetto's or like a Chex Mix. They have this one that's like a
yeah.
sweeter, like a cookies and cream one. If you're sensing the theme, I'm a big cookies and cream guy.
Oh, I
Oh,
love cookies and cream. One of my favorites. I was talking with my barber today. He got this like vegan ice cream that was like an oatmeal cookie, and I said that sounds delicious.
vegan though. I mean, what's happening there?
I mean, if then you don't end up with diarrhea after you eat ice cream. Simple as that one. If you're
Well,
putting
if you're gonna
back a
put it like
pint,
that,
if you're putting a pint down here, let's be honest here. Because no one's eating just a couple scoops of ice cream. We're putting down the little Ben and Jerry's pints here.
I try my best, but when we're talking Ben and Jerry's, Cherry Garcia, half baked, that's trouble.
True, true. I dig it. But yeah, close it out. Chicago baseball, we're all winning here. Yankees still losing. The New York Liberty took over the All-Star game. And you know what? Concerts are out here ending marriages. So we'll be back next week for more Gabagools. Anything to close out on?
Yeah. Take it easy on the kiss cam there, fellas.
All right, we'll close out there.